Hello and welcome to a new episode of this show right here. Some thoughts on Far Cry 4 on the Up to the Ninth channel. I don't know how long this video is gonna be. It's really fucking early in the morning. Why am I doing this? Jesus. I have university today. So, well, we're gonna talk about Far Cry 4. The game has not been out for a long time, and I haven't even finished the game, but I'm a person who doesn't even remotely give a fuck about spoilers or being spoiled. I'll go out of my way to get spoiled before I watch or consume a medium that interests me to see if it is even worth my time. I don't lose any kind of enjoyment when I know some twist that's coming up before I've actually experienced the product itself. Just a quirk from my personal tastes. Far Cry 4. I haven't finished the game. I have actually only played the beginning, and then I've seen some of the endings. I'll actually make this clear right now. This is going to be spoilery as fuck, so if you care about that, or if you haven't finished the game or whatever, you might want to watch this video at a later time. So, you have been warned. So actually, the game has two endings as far as I've seen. Maybe I should, before I start, I should give a rundown about the game if you haven't even considered playing it. So okay, Far Cry 4. I'll assume that you know what Far Cry is. Ego shooter game series. So, in the new game, you play some guy called AJ Gale or RJ Gale, however you want to pronounce the name. I'm gonna call him AJ Gale, AJ Gale, that's what they call him. So the guy, his mother died, and she's from some, basically a dictatorship, a fictional dictatorship country somewhere between India, China, in the Himalayas. And she died, and her last wish was for her son to bring her back to Lakshma, which she assumes is some place in the fictional Himalayan country called Kyrat. And so he brings her there. Problem is that Kyrat basically is on lockdown because it's in a civil war, and no one is basically allowed to enter. So he goes there anyway, and as soon as he even crosses the border, basically on the border, his boss gets stopped. A whole shootout breaks out, which kind of escalates. That's what you see in the trailer at the beginning. And some guy in a helicopter shows up, pretty eccentric, and he takes him back to one of his compounds. And the guy is called Pagan Min, and is the ruler, king, dictator, whatever you want to call it, of the country. So then you come into a situation where you actually have a choice. As a player, you don't actually know it's a choice at this point. But you can either, because Pagan Min and his guards all leave, and he basically says, yeah, sit down and enjoy the food, I'll be right back, I have to make a phone call. And the guy who brought you into the country, who is secretly like an agent of a resistance against Pagan Min's rule, is escorted out and basically gets tortured in the cellar. So then you have a choice. You don't know you have a choice. You think you go down the stairs, and then you get rescued by the rebellion, and the story goes from there. You basically fight against Pagan Min and his men and rule, and viva la revolution. So the thing is that you have actually a choice, a hidden ending right at that point. You can just wait for Pagan Min, who just is doing a phone call, and if you do that, if you wait 13 minutes in the room after the beginning cutscene ends, he will come back, call you gentleman, and say, okay, well, you came here to scatter your mother's ashes. Let's do that. Jump into my chopper. We go there. He actually gives you some backstory about what Lakshma actually is. It's not a place in Kyrat. It's the name of your sister, who was actually killed by your father because your mother had a relationship with Pagan Min, and they had a daughter together, so your stepsister, or your half-sister actually, and all that shebang, and after she got killed, all kind of went down the shitter. And so basically that's the story. You bring your mother's ashes to the little shrine Pagan Min has created for his own daughter, your half-sister. And then you come out of there, he says, so, felt that good to get it off of your chest, now let's shoot some motherfucking guns, and the game ends. That's a pretty fucking good ending, if you ask me, better than like a lot of games, but the point it makes is even more driven home to me with one of a very similar ending that you get if you actually play through the whole game. Through the whole game. Jesus, it's early. So at the very ending of the game, you have actually a choice. You like, after lots of like sabotaging and fighting for the resistance and stuff, you actually storm Pagan Min's fortress, his royal palace thing, and you confront him, and he's like down in some dining room preparing food and stuff, and then he has this whole speech with who am I talking? The innocent boy who basically wants to scatter his mother's ashes, or the crazy nut who guns down all my men and wants to make a fucking rebellion against me. And then you have a choice: shoot him, or just sit down and have a talk with him and enjoy dinner. So if you shoot him, basically the ending is, whoa, you killed him, you're now the new king of Kyrat, and you have done it, you have freed the people with all your fighting, it was totally worth it. And yeah, that's one of the endings. And the other one is, if you don't shoot him, you sit down, talk for a short amount of time, then he says that he doesn't want to waste any more of your time, takes you to the grave of your sister with your mother so you can place the ashes there, tells you basically the same story he did before, and then he hands you over the throne. He says that's what he was planning all along, to give you the throne. He's just keeping the fucking chopper, and then he takes off. So what this really drives home for me, and is that everything you do through the whole fucking game is fucking pointless. At the beginning, your goal is just to like bring your mother's ashes to Lakshma, the place, whatever. So Darfuk, he basically fulfills your wish. He doesn't try to stop you. And from what I've seen and heard of the game, he's basically through the whole game like this. He doesn't even want to stop you. He's not even antagonizing you. He just is some ruler who fucked shit up. I don't even know how bad of a dictator he really is. That is what I will have to find out when I actually play the game. But to me it seems like that these rebels are actually the fucking assholes who like make rebellion and like pull the country into a civil war. That he's just like, stop it, please. And he doesn't want to stop you. He's not antagonizing you. He would have fulfilled your wish if you just waited. And he's not even... He will hand you the throne. So all the like killing, revolution shit you did is just pointless. If you just would have walked up to him and talked to him, he would have given you the throne and fucked off. Because he, in his own words, he states that he actually thinks the place made him a bit crazy. Kyrat made him fucking crazy. In some sense. He came in a sane man and came out in, as quoting him, as what you see here. As this. So, point being, the whole thing you want to accomplish throughout the game didn't need to be solved through violence and revolution and all that fucking shit the rebels tell you all the time, the Golden Path tells you. It could have just been solved through, like, listening to the man. Just listening to him and waiting for a couple of minutes. He would have given you the country, you could have spared all the lives, people and whatever that died throughout the process. Because he didn't really, like, try to kill you or stuff. He didn't even want to stop you. That's it, I don't know how, I don't even know if that was intentional or something. If it was intentional by Ubisoft to make it seem like, because it's really like a once in a decade ending for me. I mean, it's not like what a twist ending like in BioShock games, for example, but it's more like it challenges in a way like the. Oftentimes people like justify shooter games through, yeah, but I'm shooting the people for the right cause. In this game, no, you should have just. It's fucking pointless. It's just that you get manipulated by these fucking asshole rebels instead of just listening to the guy, and everything could have been solved in 10 fucking minutes if you just had waited and listened. Really interesting thing for me personally. I don't even think this was intended, but it's just like that you when you're in a game you have like this command, do this, that you don't even hesitate to do what the game tells you, even if it is completely unnatural to the situation. Interesting, I think. If you have thoughts on that, please share. Share. Yeah, that's how I see it at the moment. I have to play the whole game. Maybe I'll update it then, but my point now is Pagan Min is actually not that much of a bad guy. Just a person who ended up in a situation and things got out of hand. But he's not in the game for you, an antagonist, actually. It's just that other people antagonize him and tell you, it's your enemy too, and that's what your parents wanted, even though your parents were like, either your mother was kind of a fucking whore and your dad was a fucking asshole, even worse than Pagan Min, because he goes around like killing children and shit. So yeah, my thoughts. Feel free to comment on that. Maybe I will update. See you soon with more videos.